Richard was 67, a calm, quiet man who had recently retired. He lived a peaceful life in the countryside, enjoyed morning walks, and spent hours in his garden. He didn't smoke, rarely drank, and always said, "I feel fine." But last night, Richard died in his sleep. The cause? A silent heart attack. There was no chest pain, no emergency call, just some back discomfort the day before, and a few days of unexplained tiredness. His family was shocked. He looked healthy, his daughter said. But Richard's body had been sending warning signs, ones he didn't recognize. Just like thousands of seniors each year who experience silent heart attacks, quiet events with no classic symptoms, but deadly if ignored. 1. Unusual ongoing fatigue. He wasn't in pain. He wasn't out of breath. He was just tired, too tired to go for his usual walk. And that's what killed him. Richard's story is frightening because it was so quiet. There were no dramatic symptoms, no collapsing, no clutching at the chest, just days of feeling tired. Tired enough to cancel his daily morning walks, something he loved. Tired enough to fall asleep on the couch after breakfast. Tired enough to tell his wife, "I'm probably just getting old." But Richard wasn't just tired. He was in danger. One of the most overlooked warning signs of a silent heart attack is unusual, ongoing fatigue. And it's often missed for one simple reason. Everyone gets tired sometimes. But this isn't normal tiredness. It's different. This type of fatigue doesn't go away after resting. It lingers. It makes simple tasks feel heavy. Climbing stairs, carrying groceries, even getting dressed in the morning. Seniors who experience it often say they feel slowed down, heavy, or like they have no energy at all. It's a kind of tired that doesn't match your activity level, and it can sneak up day by day until your body is screaming for help in a whisper. Why does this happen? When your heart isn't pumping blood effectively, your body and brain receive less oxygen and nutrients. That affects every part of you. Muscles feel weak. The mind feels foggy. Even standing up can feel like a chore. For seniors, this can be dangerous because it's often brushed off as normal aging. But it's not. Richard had been active his whole life. He wasn't a gym guy, but he walked a lot, did yard work, and liked staying busy. So when he began sitting more, lying down longer, and saying things like, "I just don't feel like myself," those were red flags, but no one thought to connect them to his heart. Here's the truth. When fatigue arrives without explanation, especially if it's new, worsening, or paired with other subtle symptoms like lightheadedness or loss of appetite, it can be a major early warning of cardiac trouble. You might not feel pain in your chest. You might not feel anything alarming at all. But your body is trying to warn you. And if you're over 60, have high blood pressure, diabetes, or a history of heart problems in your family, you should take those warnings seriously. So, what should you look for? Fatigue that doesn't improve after rest. Feeling weaker than usual, doing everyday things. Needing to lie down or nap more often. Losing motivation to move or go outside. A general feeling of being off or slowed down. If you notice one or more of these symptoms, don't wait. Talk to your doctor. Ask for an ECG or a heart checkup. It's not overreacting. It's taking your health seriously. And don't underestimate how powerful your routine is. If you normally walk and suddenly stop, if you love gardening and now you'd rather sit, that change matters. You know your body better than anyone else. When your energy changes, it's never random. It's information. Fatigue alone might not seem dangerous, but for Richard, it was the only sign his heart gave before it stopped. There were no sirens, no chest pain, no hospital visits. Just a few quiet days of doing a little less, moving a little slower, and assuming it was all part of getting older. It wasn't. And that's why this message matters. If you're suddenly more tired than usual, don't brush it off. Don't wait until it gets worse. Listen, act, and protect your heart. Because sometimes, tiredness is a warning trying to save your life. 2. Discomfort in the upper body. It didn't hurt much, just a tightness between the shoulder blades, nothing sharp, nothing sudden. He thought it was from how he slept, but it was his heart. Richard had always been the type to brush things off. When he felt a strange ache in his upper back one morning, he didn't panic. "Must have slept wrong," he told his wife. "Maybe I twisted the wrong way in bed." He stretched his arms, rubbed his shoulders, and went on with his day. But the discomfort came back later. Dull, squeezing, deep. Not painful exactly, just wrong. A day later, he was gone. Many people think a heart attack means a dramatic scene, gripping the chest, falling to the floor. But for seniors, especially men over 60, the signs are often far less obvious. One of the most commonly missed symptoms is discomfort in the upper body, in places you wouldn't normally associate with the heart. The back, the neck, the shoulders, the jaw, the arms. This discomfort might feel like pressure, heaviness, aching, or tightness. It may come and go. It might move around. It might even feel more like a muscle issue than something serious. But here's the important thing to remember. If the pain isn't caused by movement or an injury, and it doesn't go away quickly, it may be your heart asking for help. The reason this happens is simple. The nerves around your heart can send pain signals to other areas of the body. In seniors, the chest muscles may not react the same way they did when younger. Instead of pain in the center of the chest, the brain interprets the warning differently, sending that signal to your shoulder blades, your jaw, or your left arm. That's why doctors often say, "Not all heart pain feels like heart pain." In Richard's case, that dull ache between his shoulders seemed like nothing. He'd lifted some flower pots the day before. He'd slept a little crooked. It made sense to ignore it. But what didn't make sense, what should have been the clue, was that the ache kept coming back. It wasn't linked to movement. It wasn't getting better. And it was accompanied by a sense of unease he couldn't explain. If you ever feel this kind of discomfort, ask yourself, did I strain a muscle or lift something heavy? Does it feel better with movement or worse? Is the ache constant or coming in waves? Does it get worse when I lie down? Is it paired with fatigue, nausea, or shortness of breath? If you answer yes to more than one of those, especially if the discomfort is new or unfamiliar, you need to take it seriously. Seniors in particular are more likely to experience atypical symptoms during a heart attack. That means no dramatic chest pain, no racing pulse, just vague discomfort in unexpected places. And then silence. Women are especially at risk of these kinds of symptoms, and they often delay going to the doctor because they don't realize these are signs of cardiac distress. But men experience them too, especially as they age. That's why stories like Richard's are so important. He didn't feel weak. He wasn't sweating. He didn't even feel scared. But his body was giving him a chance, a clear signal that something inside wasn't right. You don't have to panic every time your shoulder aches, but you do need to pay attention when it doesn't behave like a typical sore muscle, when it lingers, when it spreads, when it pairs with other small changes in your body. You know yourself. You know what feels normal and what feels strange. And when something strange stays with you for more than a day, go get checked. Your heart won't always shout for help. Sometimes it just whispers from your back or your arm or the quiet ache beneath your jaw. But if you listen closely enough, that whisper might save your life. 3. Shortness of breath while resting. He wasn't running. He wasn't climbing stairs. He was just sitting on the couch, and still, he couldn't catch his breath. That's when his heart was warning him the loudest. A few days before his death, Richard mentioned something odd to his wife. "I feel a little breathless when I lie down," he said casually. "Just for a few minutes. Probably the weather." But it wasn't the weather. It was his heart. Shortness of breath, especially when you're not moving, is one of the most underappreciated signs of a heart problem in seniors. People expect to feel winded when they exercise or walk uphill. But if your breathing becomes shallow or difficult during rest, that's a red flag. Your heart may not be keeping up with your body's needs. Here's why. Your heart is a pump. When it works efficiently, it sends oxygen-rich blood to your organs and muscles. But when the heart starts to struggle due to blockage, damage, or weakness, it can't keep up. Blood may back up in the lungs, leading to a feeling of breathlessness, tightness, or even panic. For some seniors, this happens only at night, especially when lying flat. It's called orthopnea, and it's often one of the earliest signs of heart failure or a silent heart attack. Richard didn't have asthma, he wasn't sick, but he found himself needing more pillows to sleep comfortably. He felt like his chest was heavy, especially in the evenings. Still, he didn't think it was serious. He wasn't coughing, his chest didn't hurt, and he figured maybe he was just out of shape. But breathlessness without effort is never normal. Many seniors dismiss this symptom because it doesn't always come with pain. You may just feel like it's harder to breathe deeply or that you can't quite get a full breath. Some describe it as feeling like something is sitting on their chest. Others say it feels like breathing through a straw. If this happens while resting, lying down, or doing very light activity, it needs attention. So, what should you look for? Breathlessness. When lying down flat, needing to sit up or prop yourself up to sleep, sudden waking at night, gasping for air, feeling winded after very light activity. A sense of chest tightness without pain. These signs, especially when new or getting worse, can mean your heart is under strain. And even if you're not in obvious pain, the danger can still be real. A silent heart attack doesn't always hurt. It just makes your body work harder to stay normal. Sometimes, people blame their breathing on age, weight, or old habits like smoking. And while those can make a difference, they don't explain sudden changes in your breathing pattern. If you were fine last month and now you need to rest after climbing just a few stairs, it's time to talk to your doctor. In Richard's case, the warning was quiet. Just a few short moments each day where breathing felt harder than usual. No wheezing, no fever, just heaviness, fatigue, and short, shallow breaths that came and went. But the heart doesn't always give second chances. By the time the breath runs out, it may already be too late. Here's something to remember. You don't need to feel pain to be in danger. In fact, for many seniors, pain is not the main symptom. Breathlessness, tiredness, and strange physical sensations may be the only clues you get. If you're breathing harder when doing less, or if lying down makes you feel like you need to sit up, listen to your body. The heart speaks through signals like these, and if you catch them early enough, you may have time to fix the problem before it becomes irreversible. Don't wait until you're gasping. Take every breath seriously. It could be your heart and your life asking for help. 4. Cold sweats, nausea, and sudden anxiety. He wasn't stressed. He wasn't sick. But suddenly he broke into a cold sweat and felt like something was terribly wrong. His heart knew, before he did. The night before Richard passed away, something changed. He didn't say much, but his wife noticed the color in his face was off, pale and clammy. His forehead was damp, even though the house was cool. "I feel weird," he muttered. "Maybe it was something I ate." He went to bed early, but he never woke up. Many people don't associate cold sweats, nausea, or anxiety with heart problems. They assume it's digestion, nerves, or just a passing feeling. But these symptoms, especially in seniors, can be powerful warning signs of a silent heart attack. Let's start with cold sweats. This isn't just light perspiration. We're talking about sudden, cold, sticky sweating, even when you're sitting still or in a cool room. It may come with dizziness or lightheadedness. This happens because the body is under stress. When the heart struggles, the body activates its emergency response system, releasing adrenaline. That response causes the skin to sweat, even when there's no obvious reason. Richard had never experienced cold sweats before. He wasn't warm, wasn't exercising, wasn't anxious. But that night, his body was trying to tell him something was wrong. It was a final, quiet warning. Next is nausea. It's one of the most misinterpreted signs of a heart attack, especially in older adults. You might feel queasy, lose your appetite, or even vomit. Many mistake this for a stomach bug or bad food. But the nerves that connect your heart and stomach can overlap. That means heart stress can cause digestive reactions. If nausea appears suddenly, especially without other stomach issues, and is combined with weakness or discomfort in the chest, back, or jaw, it may not be your stomach at all. It may be your heart. Then there's the emotional signal no one expects: sudden anxiety. When your heart isn't working properly, the brain sometimes senses it before you consciously do. It can trigger a wave of panic, dread, or unease, even when there's nothing to feel anxious about. Some people describe it as a feeling that something bad is going to happen. Others say they feel trapped, nervous, or shaky without knowing why. In seniors, this is especially important to notice because these emotional cues are often brushed off as just stress. But Richard wasn't the anxious type. He wasn't dealing with problems. He had no reason to feel worried. That's what makes this symptom so dangerous. It appears without cause, and we convince ourselves it's nothing. So here's what to look for: cold, clammy sweats without physical activity, sudden nausea or indigestion without a clear cause, unexplained feelings of anxiety, panic, or doom, a sense of lightheadedness or floating, symptoms that appear in combination with fatigue, aches, or shortness of breath. If more than one of these occurs together, even if they seem mild, it's time to act. Go to the emergency room, call a doctor, don't wait for pain, don't wait for confirmation. Your body is already warning you. Silent heart attacks are called silent because they don't scream. They whisper, through sweat, through queasiness, through a quiet sense that something is wrong. Richard's body gave him that message. He just didn't know how to read it. You can. You can learn the language of your body. You can trust that cold sweat on a cool night. You can ask questions when nausea appears without reason. You can listen to the fear that comes from nowhere. Because sometimes, your heart is calling for help in the only way it knows how. And the next time it calls, it might be your last chance to answer.